Hello, folks. This is activity SD00, and it's creating the assembly for this slider crank mechanism. The first thing I'm going to do is to create a product file. There we are. And immediately I'm going to save this thing, although I haven't done anything in it. So File, Save Management, Save As. On my desktop, I'm going to create a new folder. And the name of the folder is January 14, 2024. So everything that I do is going to go into this folder, the product and all the parts that make it. So select it. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to insert my first part, which is going to be the base. So insert, new part in there. And this is going to be the base, so I can rename this thing properties. I'll call it the base. And under mechanical, under instance name and part name, base. Notice that I called both of them base. We say, okay, now we can make it. Get these things out of the way. I don't use this thing frequently. Move this is important. All right. So we double click on the base and we're going to end up in the part design. Some of the stuff that I don't need, I'm going to close from here. We're not going to do any Boolean, no material, dynamic sectioning. I don't need it. This constraint. So these things I don't use regularly. If that's the case, I'm going to clutter my screen. So let me move these things out of the way. Okay. Obviously, we need the sketcher. So on that vertical plane, I will sketch a square that is 1 inch by 1 inch. So there we are. Let me dimension this thing to be 1 inch. And also this one 1 inch. 1 inch. Exit. And then pad it by 10 inches. So there's a pad, 10 inches. The direction doesn't matter. So this is going to be almost the base, except that I have to create that protrusion here. So on that face, I will sketch a little circle. The location of it is not that critical right now, but I will dimension the circle to be radius of uh, diameter of 0.5. So diameter 0.5 and exit and pad it by also 0.5. 0.5. Good. That takes care of this. I go all the way to the top, and all I have to do is to click the click on the floppy, and it's going to update product, and of course it's going to save the base too. That's because of what I did, file save management. Otherwise, you have to go through file save management and do it, your own way. Now, the next thing we're going to create, I'm going to make this crank. We're going to make the, what is this? The crank. So insert, new part, in there. I always say no because I will use the same coordinate system as the assembly. Right click properties. I'm going to call this thing the crank. And crank. Okay. And we're going to make it. Double click. On a convenient plane, for me this is very convenient. On that plane, I will sketch. All right. To make my job easier, I will actually project that circle. If you want, you can draw a circle. It's up to you. Let me see for a second. Maybe you know what? Maybe it's better if I do it a different way. So I'm going to make it as a slotted. Uh, uh, Let me see for a second. The name of this icon is elongated hole. Okay. Yeah. Now the only thing is that the circle here, I'm going to make this circle same as that one. So I'll make a circle here, diameter uh, 5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay. And another one on this side, another circle on this side, also diameter 0.5. Okay. All right, now the length of this elongated hole is, according to this drawing, 3.5. So let me see if I can dimension this thing to be, yeah, make it 3.5. Okay, good. Exit and pad it by a thickness of 0.25. 0.25. Okay. Then I will do this other, what is called here, Conrad. And I do exactly the same thing, except that instead of pad, I will use multi-pad because one of them is a hole, the other one is a kind of a pin. So all the way to the top, floppy, so that it saves all the stuff that I've done so far. Insert a new part. Say no. This is going to be the Conrad properties. Conrad. Same thing here. Conrad. And we're going to make it. Double click. On that same plane, I will sketch exactly the same strategy. First of all, the elongated hole. Okay. Dimension these things. So this is going to be, based on the drawing, is 6.5. 6.5. And I'll draw two circles here. There's also a radius of this end, but that's really, I'll make it 0.7. How about that? That's really irrelevant for the problem that we're doing. So I'll just leave it like this. Never mind. But I do want to draw something here. And this is going to be diameter 0.5. 0.5. And another one on this side. Also 0.5. Okay. Exit. Now, if I do pad here, I'll get two holes. So what I will do is to do a multi-pad. So it says there are three curves here. How much you want to pad each one of them? Well, first of all, this one is the big one, and I'm going to pad it by 0.5. Let me see now, 0.25, 0.25. Okay, this one is the hole at that end. So if I want to make that end a hole, I'll make it 0, keep it 0. And this is the hole on this end. And if I want to make this thing a pin, I'll make it 0.5, for example. There we are. I mean, there are other ways, a lot of other ways of doing this thing. I'll leave it to you. All the way to the top and save. The last thing you want to do is that block. So you go insert, new part in there. I say no, and right click properties, block, and block. Okay, let's go make it. Double click. It's a 1 by 1 by 1, so it doesn't matter again. On that face, I will sketch square, which is 1 by 1. This is 1, and this one also 1. Okay, and then a circle in the middle. I'll do the same trick as of multi-padding. 0.5. Okay, exit and a multi-pad. So two curves here. This one is this square, so I'll make this thing 1. The other one is going to be the pin is going to be 0.75. Oh, hang in there. 1.75. Yes, not 0.75. Let me double click on this. This is going to be 1.75. That's a lot better. Okay, all the way to the top. Save everything. Okay, so now we're going to assemble. This is the constraints toolbar, extremely important. First, let's fix something. We're going to fix the base. So here's the anchor. You fix the base. Anything else that you move is going to be, this guy's going to stay put. Well, let's put the crank in there. So coincidence between this axis and this axis, and coincidence between, for example, this plane and that plane. Okay, and let's update now. Either Control U or get the icon, the update icon out. Let me see. It's always right there. I could have made it so that this update automatically, but I didn't. All right, now if this you don't like that, all you do is you go to this, double click on this to flip the arrows and update. Some people may like this better. Now I'm going to put this connecting rod inside of that hole. So coincidence between this axis and that axis, and coincidence between this plane and that plane. We say OK, and we update. Again, I don't like the way this thing looks, so I'm going to flip these arrows and now update. I like that better. Okay. So now we're going to bring this guy and put it on that track. So coincidence between, for example, this edge and that edge. And coincidence between this plane and that plane. And update. Okay, that's good. And so finally, I'm going to put this hole in that pin. Yeah. Okay. So coincidence between this hole and that pin and okay, so how do I know whether things are working right or not? First of all, you might say, wait a minute, this is not long enough. No problem. So we're going to go to that track or the base and make the pad longer. Let me see. It's this one, right? Yeah, this one. I'm going to make it longer in the other direction also. Oh, let's see now. Yeah, that's good. Very good. All the way to the top. Let's save everything. Now, if I move everything apart, and then do an update, they should go back to original position. That means your constraints were right. So where's the move? Here's the move. Let me translate this. Not only translate it, but also rotate that. Same thing with this guy. Maybe move it this way. If I did everything correctly, when I update, you should go back to position. Actually, let me make a more dramatic rotation of this. Maybe rotating about Y, maybe X. Yeah, good. See that? Okay, if I update, they should go back to the position. Another way that I can check my assemblies is to move things at my will. So you click on the move manipulate icon, and then you say, okay, let me rotate about this axis. Let me rotate the whole thing about this axis. So that's axis, I believe, Y. And make sure you check this box here which says with respect to constraint. Now, if I grab this crank and turn it around, okay. Actually, I don't want Z axis. Let me do that about arbitrary axis. Okay, now it's a lot easier to do this. Yeah. So that's a good sign. Basically a cartoon. Now in this course later on, I'll show you how to impose the velocity of this, because right now this is just a cartoon. There's no physics here. If I specify the velocity of the crank, angular velocity of the crank in RPM, for example, what would be the acceleration of the piston, etc. So that takes care of this uh, tutorial.